What's up? 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 What is up? How are y'all doing today? It is Thursday, and that y'all know what that means. That means we're gonna have us a good old time tonight. I am your host, Emmanuel Eman Noisette. I want to thank each and every one of y'all for coming out and hanging out with me today. Yes, we are going a little bit early because I'm not going to be available on Friday. I've got a whole lot of stuff going on, so I do need to come a little bit early here and hang out with you guys. We have got a lot to talk about. Obviously, I was not here last week. The wife and I actually had to go out on vacation. Well, it was vacation, but we had to go out on to Mexico and had a good old time out there. It was hot. My God, it was hot out there. Had your boy out there sweating in a whole suit. It was a problem. But we definitely had a good old time. But of course, that meant I had to miss out last week. So we will cover a lot of the new some of the news from last week, and then of course news from this week. And yeah, we should be all set to go. We are definitely going to have a lot to talk about with Marvel. Marvel has been it felt like Marvel was like, hey DC, I know you had that little Superman movie and all that. It's our time now. Okay, it's our time. So Kevin Feige went out, did a whole press run, dropped a lot of information and stuff. So we will go through all of those things. He said a couple of things out of pocket, in my opinion, a couple out of pocket things. So we will talk about that. And then you also have James Gunn. He also had a lot to talk about with the future of the DCU, things that we can expect. And then, of course, I'll also give you guys my thoughts on the Fantastic Four movie. I'll give you my review for that as well. So let's see. We've got a couple people here. Let's say what's up and see who's here. Jarrell, I'm going to get right to you. But Paulette, thank you so much. Appreciate you being here. Mary J, good to see you. Sam K on the replay. Shout out to the replay gang. Let's see. Andrew, appreciate you coming through. Corey, what is up? Bess, how are you? Got the homie Tracy here. Hello, hello. My man Alejandro is back. Good to see you. Rob, how are you? We got the homie Rhonda here as well. Good to see you. Let's see. Theo, my man, what is up? Diane, appreciate you coming through always. Tyra, hello, hello. My man Mitch is here. Hello, Kristen. I see you. What's up? Who else did I see? That was my man Minister Crush. Hello, good to see you too. Let's see. London, always calling. Thank you, Stamina. Appreciate you. D Brown, appreciate you coming through as well. Last of my kin, how you doing? Come on through, Ty. How are you, ma'am? Thank you. Kung Fu Killer, good to see you. Let's see. Doc, hello, hello. Who's this? Naries, hello, my man Omar. What is up? Good to see you. And shout out to everyone that is going to make it out. Again, I know this is not the normal time for everybody, but this is what we got to do for now. We got to do that. So, all right, let's see. First off, who was it? Jarrell, okay, we can talk about it. I mean, I do have DCU stuff to talk about, but I'll go ahead and we'll do this now. And thank you, by the way, for the support. I really appreciate it. Let's see, a lot of news the past weeks. Yes, there is. Missed you. I missed all of y'all too. I really did. Does Matt Reeves' Batman before the DCU Batman make the DCU confusing for general audiences? Also, I'm visiting Chicago for the first time this weekend. Drop some recommendations. Okay. Let's do that in reverse. So if you want food, you can start off. If you've never been to Chicago, you got to go to Giordano's to get the deep dish pizza. That is just the thing to do on your first time here. If you're staying here for a while, try to go somewhere else for pizza after that. Just get the deep dish just to say that you've tried it. Just do that. But if you want the real secret, and I'm saying don't go for this now, because if you go for the real stuff now, it's going to make the other stuff not so good. I'm trying to get you leveled up. Go for Giordano's. Then you want to go for the thin crust pizza. The thin crust is actually what Chicago is secretly known for, but people don't really know about it because only Chicagoans, we don't tell everybody all this, okay? This is what we eat. You got to go to Italian Fiesta, Aurelio's, or Beggar's Pizza, depending on wherever you are. You get or Illuminati's. Get a thin crust pizza from one of those places, and your life will change. There's that. If you want to be a part of the Big Back Brigade, you can go ahead. Also, go to Harold's. Don't listen to nobody that tells you nothing about Uncle Remus. They don't know what they're talking about. You go to Harold's. You get the you just get whatever wings, whatever chicken that you like. Some people like the salt and pepper. I'm personally a lemon pepper kind of guy. Make sure you get it with the mild sauce. Okay, just get it with the mild sauce. Change your life. Go to the south side of Chicago, not the north side. It got gentrified up there. You're not going to get the real thing, and you're going to be like, what's the big deal? Go to the south side, okay? You go to the south side. Then you also want to go to Portillo's. Now, you might want to make sure this is your last stop of your trip, because Portillo's is going to get you right. Portillo's is also going to mess you up. Because you got to try the Italian beef. You got to get a hot dog. At some point, you need to try either the chocolate cake, or in true fatback fashion, you can get the cake shake. The cake shake, whew, it's a problem. It's all a problem. Now, listen, I'm not a health advisor, okay? Please check with your doctor. Please check your blood pressure, your medication, whatever it is, because all of these things are problems. Okay. This is why I currently have to diet right now, because Chicago has arguably the best food, period. Maybe outside of New Orleans. New Orleans is probably number one, but Chicago is right there. Okay. It's right there. Am I missing anything? We got the pizza, we got the chicken, we got the Portillo's. I think that's about all I can give you. Right now. But if you do those three things, or at least one of them, you will be back. You will be back. You will be back. All right. I think I have given enough confessions as to why I am currently the size that I am. And my doctor would be ashamed of me. I already know. All right. Let's go ahead and kick it off. We do have a couple of things to go through, and I'm going to try and go through as many as I can. First off, we got to start off with the bad news. Let's kind of get this out the way. Y'all, we lost a couple folks earlier this week, and, it usually comes fast and hard. Ozzy Osbourne has passed away. The legendary rock and roll singer from Black Sabbath. I can't say that I was a big fan of the music like that, but he had his whole reality TV show, The Osbournes, and a lot of people liked him. So rest in peace to him. Rest in peace for sure, and of course condolences to his friends, family, and any fans. This is the one that hurt, though. And it was, unfortunately, Malcolm Jamal Warner. We lost Theo Huxtable. This hurt a lot. I mean, I was literally on the plane coming from Mexico, and I saw my wife. My wife was just like, yo, did you hear the news? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Theo died. And I was like, Theo, who? And she was like, Malcolm Jamal Warner. And you get to this place where your mind immediately is like, no, it's got to be somebody else. She got to be confused. This can't be real. This man was 54? 54 years old. He has no business leaving this earth that early. Oh, gut punch. I mean, of course, Malcolm has gone on to do other things beyond the Cosby Show. Shout out to Malcolm and Eddie. I love the show. Great show. But he's always going to be known as Theo, which for a lot of people, he was their TV older brother, right? He was the older brother that a lot of Gen Xers, looked at as their brother, so this sucks. I know that he was swimming, I believe, with his family. There were some surfers that came to try and help him and his daughter. And they did actually, I think they did save his daughter, but he got caught in a current and he ended up drowning while on vacation, and that it's just gone too soon, gone way too soon. So yeah, 110%, rest in peace, brother. This hurt. This really, 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 really hurt. Really hurt, So feel free to share any fond memories you might have had. Oh, by the way, Gordon Cottrell shirts is going to forever be legendary at this point. Forever legendary. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to just go ahead and Google the Gordon Cottrell shirt. That's it. Shout out to Theo. Shout out to Malcolm Jamal Warner. Hope you rest up very well, brother. Hope you rest up. Unfortunately, there was another one. Hold on. Excuse me. Hold on. Let me set this up. I want to be very clear with this third one, because we lost another one. And they always talk about we lose them in threes. We just lost Hulk Hogan. And I want to say rest in peace to the character Hulk Hogan. And I want to be very clear about that, because I remember my grandmother introduced me to wrestling when I was 6, 7 years old, whatever it was. And it was Hulk Hogan, the character, that I absolutely loved. I remember him sitting here fighting Andre the Giant, body slamming him, waiting, winning the championship and all that. He put wrestling on the map. The character. I remember when he went to WCW, made the famous heel turn and, became Hollywood Hogan. Oh man, Hulk Hogan, the character, was absolutely phenomenal. Okay, he is a pillar. He is famous. That was amazing. However, we're going to take that off real quick. Terry, because that's his name, Terry Bollea, died. Terry died, and he was 71. Said it was cardiac arrest. Now, in case you did not know, Terry has a very complicated background. In case you have not seen on the internet streets, Black Twitter, Black social media, Black folks in general don't have the best relationship with Terry. Why? Because Terry said some real racist things that revealed his real racist nature in his life. I'm not going to repeat the real racist stuff that Terry said, but I can tell you, every time we have people that pass away, I always make some sort of comment about how you want to make sure when you leave this earth, hopefully you did more good than bad so people can talk positively about you. Terry did not do that. Terry was out here doing a whole lot. I believe he slept with his made a whole certain adult videotape with his friend's girlfriend, wife, or something. You know, political party aside, whatever. The racist stuff is what got me. We stop. I draw the line. I know that's not everybody's line. Racist, that's my line. You're racist. You wouldn't like your daughter to date someone that looks like me unless they were a 8-foot tall basketball player that could make you millions of dollars. Sir, I was about to say something bad. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. Sir, goodbye. Just goodbye. I'm not going to be as mean as the Twitter streets have been going. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to say goodbye. Okay. Yeah. But Hulk Hogan, the character, oh man, I'm going to miss that, brother. You know, I'm a boy, had me saying my prayers and taking my vitamins. Yeah. Had me mess around loving America and everything. Hulk Hogan, the character, woo, rest in wrestling heaven. Please rest in that fictional heaven for the character of Hulk Hogan. But Terry, bye. Anyway, y'all let me know. How do y'all feel? What are your thoughts about these three that have passed? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments down below. Tracy, what you got? You forgot to mention the famous Riverboat Tour. Oh, yeah. I'm thinking about food, of course. Yeah. Listen, Jarrell, if you want to do the Riverboat Tour, architecture, go to the museum, go to the aquarium, blah, blah, blah. Listen, if that's your thing, that's cool. I'm just talking about what my fat back likes. Okay. I like the food. That was the first thing that came to my mind. But Tracy is absolutely correct. The riverboats are absolutely a fun experience. Make sure you go check that. And just the theaters in general, right? Like the theaters are also a great experience. All right, let's go through. We got some quick updates. So let's go through some of those. We have cancellations. Cancel culture is back, y'all. The Late Show with Stephen Colbert will end May 2026 due to financial decisions. Now, for those of you that are not following, this is an interesting dynamic that's going on. It depends on how you want to look at it. On one side, there is the argument of finances. The Late Show cost a lot of money. I want to say it was like hundreds of millions of dollars or something. It's a very expensive show to keep up in production. At the same time, it's also like the #1 rated show. So if you're sitting here talking about ratings, it's hard to argue when that's like your #1 rated show or one of your top shows. You know that, but it's also expensive, right? So the question is, well, do you keep pouring in money into a show that might be #1, but it's super expensive? I don't know. Maybe. And there's an argument that's out there that's basically saying, like, hey, the whole model of late night television, it could be dying. Now, I don't know about you all. I'm only going to speak on my own behalf. I don't watch any late night TV shows. Not when they come on. What I do, I watch all of their segments on YouTube or on social media. So when Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel, or whoever, whenever they do their little monologues and they have their little guests and all that, I watch it on their social media platforms. So I can understand that while the late night show model has been a staple for 60, like for a long time, I don't even watch it. So I can only imagine maybe other people might not be either, you know, but you also have to think about There's a whole lot of competition out there now. Like, you got streaming all over. You got more options and stuff. I used to watch the late night shows because there was nothing else on. It was like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. That's so I'm just saying there could be a legitimate reason for getting rid of that show, and maybe other late night shows might follow. On the other hand, Paramount, the parent company of CBS and all that, let's just keep it funky. They bent the knee. They needed to make a big old deal with Skydance or whatever, and it was $1 billion deal, and they needed the current administration in office to approve it. And guess what? After lawsuits, after settlements, they sat here and said, yes, sir, whatever you want, sir. We will go ahead and cancel Colbert, sir. Now, they're not going to officially say that because that would be a bad look. But it does look the way, if it walk like a duck and talk like a duck, then it's probably a bribery. Okay? Let's not act like Stephen Colbert did not sit around and tell the current administration head to go F themselves almost on a weekly basis. So I find it hard to believe that an administration that happens to be so sensitive to critique would not say, hey, by the way, get rid of that man too. Go ahead and get rid of that show too. Would not be surprised. Matter of fact, if you go watch certain social media, they kind of bragging about it, talking about, oh, I think I had something to do with it. So anyway, it's a shame because, in my opinion, I actually really like Stephen Colbert's show. It's one of my favorite shows. I mean, y'all really could have gotten rid of Jimmy Fallon. I don't watch Jimmy Fallon at all. Nothing wrong with him. I'm just saying, if y'all was gonna cut anybody, y'all could have cut Jimmy Fallon. Kimmel, great. Seth Meyers, cool. Colbert, amazing. But it is what it is. He's out of there. If y'all watch late night, please feel free to let me know. I don't know if that's just me that's watching just the socials or whatever. I don't know, but y'all let me know. Next up, we have I do like this. We have our first look at the new Avatar: The Last Airbender. This is the animated series. This is going to be Avatar 7 Havens. It will consist of 26 half-hour episodes over 2 seasons, and it's going to follow the earth-bending twins after a world-shattering disaster where one discovers she's the new Avatar after Korra. So we do have a nice new look at this. I really love this. It was funny because, like, as I was looking at this, my daughter sent this to me, and I was just like, see, right there. Great minds thinking alike. But it does look, listen, I'm a fan. Okay, I've watched the Avatar series, the animated one, like, I want to say, I think like twice. I think I've watched the full thing twice already in completion, and then I watched it again with my kids. We watched Legend of Korra together. So I know this is personally for me pretty cool that it's going to come out, and I can't wait. So I like the fact that, we're getting some more of the Avatar, the series. I mean, to me, it's one of those goated animated series. It's just one of those series that exemplifies character development, and it keeps on being consistent. So I like that. Next up, we have another childhood favorite. I don't know about y'all, but I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this when I was a kid. So now, a live-action Captain Planet series is in the works at Netflix. This is going to be produced by Leo DiCaprio and his team. Now, we don't have any details on exactly what they will do or what it will be about. Obviously, it's going to be about the environment and stuff like that. That's the whole point of Captain Planet. But I'm curious of 2 things. One, is this going to be woke? Is it going to be woke? Because y'all know there are certain people out there, they don't believe in climate change. They don't believe in all this stuff. They don't believe in none of that. Right? So I do wonder, are they going to include those things? Because if you recall from the old Captain Planet story, they used to talk about everything. It wasn't just the environment. They used to talk about taking drugs. They used to talk about, not smoking. They used to talk about HIV. Like, they used to really get on a whole lot of topics, to help educate kids and stuff, So that's that. But the other question, where's Don Cheadle? Listen, can we just, if y'all don't know, Don Cheadle did a famous parody of Captain Planet. Please go look it up if you haven't seen it already. I don't know who needs to hear this at Netflix, but whatever y'all do, please contact Don Cheadle. I need him to be involved in this Captain Planet live action series in some way, shape, or form. I don't care if it's a voiceover. I don't care if he's a villain. I need Don Cheadle to show up in this live action Netflix series for Captain Planet. Please, do y'all want the money? I'm just saying, it's the easiest thing y'all could do. It's the easiest thing y'all could do. Give this man some time, please. Oh my gosh. That right there is just, y'all leaving money on the table if Don Cheadle does not show up. Y'all leaving money on the table. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I think that's actually going to be kind of cool. Next up, we have a movie that is coming out. So this is going to be Aaron Taylor Johnson, who I really like, good actor. Lily Rose Depp will reportedly star in Robert Eggers' next film, Werewolf, described as a werewolf movie set in the 13th century England with time period accurate dialogue. Yikes. And Aaron Taylor Johnson is playing the werewolf. What is Hollywood's fixation with these old monster movies? What is it? I'm so tired of these, bro. Let me tell you something. I don't care nothing about Frankenstein. I don't care nothing about no werewolf. I don't care nothing about no Nostradamus. Whatever, what was the vampire name or whatever? Like Nefertatu, Nosferatu, whatever. I don't care. I don't want to see no creature from the Black Lagoon. Why do y'all want these old monsters that are not even scary? They're not Nosferatu. I knew Stamina would get me. Thank you. Appreciate it. Like, I don't care about these things. At least, see, it'd be different if y'all would remix them and put some sort of different twist on them. Don't nobody want to watch them from ye old England? Talk about, what did I say? With time period accurate dialogue? All that tells me is that I'm going to need my captions because I'm not going to know what the hell y'all saying. I'm just not. I don't care about this. And it's sad because I like Aaron Taylor Johnson. He is such a good actor. But my God, the projects he be picking, I'll be like, bro, man, who is your agent? Who is your agent? Your agent told you to do Craven? Really? You wasting your talent, bro. Wasting your talent. Anywho, next up. Oh, this is, I did not know this. This just came out. And I was a little surprised because I was going to see if I could try and maybe even get an interview or talk to somebody about it. But it looked like that might not happen because y'all show Eyes of Wakanda will now release 3 weeks earlier than it was supposed to on August 1st on Disney Plus. It's going to be a 4-part animated anthology series created by Todd Harris and produced by Ryan Coogler. It follows warriors throughout Wakanda history, tasked with traveling the world to retrieve vibranium artifacts. 3 weeks early. I just want y'all opinion on this. Have y'all been seeing advertisement for this? Because I'm just kind of curious how like Ironheart felt like it wasn't getting trailers or anything for it, and it just popped up. And then now they're pushing this up early, and it's only 4 parts. So I'm assuming they're gonna drop this all at once. I'm assuming that. Okay. But I mean, I watch it, I feel like I kind of have to, but we'll see how that goes. Last but not least, we have one other update, and that is a live action Assassin's Creed series has been greenlit at Netflix. Now, this I'm interested in. We have the showrunners from Westworld and from Halo. Now, I liked Westworld, at least the first season, maybe second. Third, I lost interest over time. It just did not carry over well. Halo, I think I watched the first couple episodes and that thing just died. So I'm a little nervous with these showrunners because you both had shows that started off strong but were not able to hold up for me. I am very conflicted with this because I am a big fan of Assassin's Creed. I loved the games. I think I have almost all of the games for PS3, 4, and 5. I think I have almost all of them. Like I just buy the games, I play them, I like them. They're not all great, but my concern is I hope y'all don't look at anything that the movie did, because the movie was atrocious. The movie did not even understand the assignment. I think that if you're going to make a series, you could do a couple of different ideas. If you're going to do an Assassin's Creed story, yes, there's the time hopping and stuff. I think the thing that makes Assassin's Creed so compelling, you're gonna have to maybe do every season as an anthology, right? But you're gonna have to follow that one character. If I were them, I would start off strong, and I would start off with Ezio. Like, forget the very beginning. You're gonna have to start off with Ezio, because Ezio, he was in Assassin's Creed 2, but he also did Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, and it was the first time that we really had a recurring character that we grew with over time, right? It wasn't just like, oh, you get this one guy for this one game and that's it. Ezio was the GOAT because we started from the beginning all the way till he was an old man. And he done changed the whole Assassin's Creed. He changed like the whole Brotherhood. Y'all need to start like that. I think y'all got to start by focusing on the character. And matter of fact, if you honestly wanted to just make the whole series about one character, that can work too. And then maybe you do a spin-off series off a different character another time. But if y'all gonna be jumping around and doing all this stuff, I think you will lose people. I think you will. Anywho, that's all for the quick updates, guys. Let me know what you like, what you don't like, what you think. Feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Taika Waititi. So y'all know Taika Waititi gave us the phenomenal Thor Ragnarok, but then he also gave us the whack Thor Love and Thunder. And while he was always speculated to go do other things like a Star Wars movie that supposedly is still coming, he is now going to be tasked with a different film. And this is interesting because this is a movie that I like both of them, and that is Judge Dredd. So, in case you did not know, Judge Dredd has already had 2 movies. The one in, I want to say 95 with Sylvester Stallone. I don't think it was well received, but I remember liking it and I didn't care. And then, of course, the next one in the 2000s or something like that with Carl Urban. Love that. Love, love, love that one. But it looks like Taika Waititi is going to be directing a new one. It says that he is attached to direct the new feature. And this comes from a British comic book character. I didn't know it was a British comic book character. Now, Drew Pearce, he's going to also be writing the script. And Drew Pearce, he was responsible for The Fall Guy and Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. Rogue Nation is one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite ones. I like Ghost Protocol the most, but I'm cool with Rogue Nation as well. What I'm liking about this pairing so far is that this isn't going to be Taika writing the script. If Taika was writing the script, I would be a little bit more concerned because somewhere, somehow, there would be some screaming goats in there. And I don't want that. Like, I'm not saying Judge Dredd doesn't have some level of humor. It's just that I'm not looking for a comedy. Not with Judge Dredd. The man doesn't even smile. Okay? Look at his face. Carl Urban, by the way, played the mess out of this role. This man was so dedicated. He was like, you never even gonna see my face. Loved it. Loved it. So it says here, Pierce and Waititi, they both grew up with the books and are friends who have been trying to find a project to work on together for years. So I like that. I like the fact that they at least know the material. They're into it. I'm cool with that. And it says that if for those that don't know about Judge Dredd, he is a police officer in the bleak future metropolis of Mega City 1, part of a law enforcement corps that empowers officers to be judge, jury, and executioner. The character and his stories were a satire on a judicial system taken to the extreme. So I'm curious where they go with this because I get a little, I don't want to say sensitive, but I get a little cautious when things like this come out because if you go back to the 80s or 90s, and I'm talking about like Die Hard or just any or Lethal Weapon, matter of fact, even Bad Boys, I feel a certain type of way when we have characters that are in the position of law enforcement and they are given the free reign to just kill people. Because let's be honest, who's usually the one getting killed, right? So I'm a little, and the thing is, because that's a main character, whether it's Die Hard, Lethal Weapon, whatever, you don't care about the law. You don't get you rooting for the main character. Hey, shoot him up. I was watching Bad Boys 3 the other day, and I was like, man, they really do just be going out there and just killing people. Mike Lowry, my man had a whole bazooka, was just boom, 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 boom. I'm like, yo, these cops be wilding out here, and we just be cheering for it. And next thing you know, when you see real police officers shooting and killing people and you know, on TV or whatever, you like, well, they should have complied, you know. So I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm overthinking it. I like Judge Dredd, the character, because at least it's fictional, but I don't know if some people can separate that. That's all. So anyway, I like the idea of Taika again not being completely in charge of this. I have no problem with him as a director. I just think that a lot of times he does need to be kind of reeled in a little bit. So if Drew is going to write the script and Taika is going to direct, I think that we might have a good movie on our hands. So you guys let me know. How do you feel about a Judge Dredd movie from Taika Waititi? Is that something that you like, something you're interested in? Feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. JN, what you got? What's his thing with the screaming goat? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where that came from. I don't know why that's a thing. I don't know. I don't know. All right. Um, we have another story here. You know what? trying to think. I'm a little thirsty. Do y'all mind if I take a break real quick? Just give me like 30 seconds. I just want to grab some water and I'll be right back for our next story. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that, guys. I was talking, getting a dry mouth and stuff. All right, let's go to our next story, and let's talk about the legend of Mackie. Let's talk about the legend of Mackie. This was something that I want to say this just came out a couple days ago. Today, this just came out today. Y'all boy, Anthony Mackie is a legend. Okay, he is a legend, and this is according to him. This is by his own words. So let's go over why he believes he is a legend. He was on the set talking about on his Twisted Metal season 2, promoting that on the Tonight Show, and he says here, "I'm on set, and I look over, and everybody's like, congratulations," and I was like, "Oh, what white dude got nominated?" Because I'm the white dude legend when it comes to nominations and wins. I made Ryan Gosling famous. I made Jeremy Renner famous. I made Bryan Cranston famous. I now made Ron Howard famous. I'm like, I want you to get nominated. I'm the dude. Oh, I'm sorry. He says, I'm like, if you want to get nominated, I'm the dude. You know what I mean? He goes on to say, and now, if you did not know, what he was talking about was Ryan Gosling and Half Nelson, Jeremy Renner in The Hurt Locker, and he he played Martin Luther King Jr. and Bryan Cranston's Lyndon B. Johnson in the movie All the Way, and then currently he appeared with Ron Howard in The Studio. So his argument is whenever he co-stars with these folks, he makes them famous. He makes them get nominated for Emmys or awards. Now, hold on. He told Esquire earlier this year on Captain America Brave New World on the tour, he said, I know I've done at least 4 performances that could have been nominated. If not for a Golden Globe, then an Oscar or an Emmy. Captain America is my Oscar because I've been overlooked so many times in my career. This man said, Captain America, Brave New World is his Oscar. What Oscar is he talking about? Oscar the Grouch? Like what Oscar are you talking about? What Captain America are you talking about? Are you talking about Winter Soldier? It's something like ain't nothing, nada in Captain America Brave New World that said Oscar. De La Hoya? Proud? Like, what are you? Oscar who? Oscar what? Sir. Now, let me give him, somebody say Oscar Myers. let me give him some credit though. The Hurt Locker, yes. I would absolutely agree. The Hurt Locker, he definitely deserved some credit and some nomination. That was some good work. If he had said that, I would have been just fine. I would have been just fine if he said, man, me as in the Hurt Locker, I should have got nominated. I'd have been like, yeah, you're right. But when you say things like Captain America Brave New World, this makes me believe that you really think you should also be nominated for other things like you playing Tupac. Like I can't take you seriously. Anyway, do y'all believe that Anthony Mackie has that juice to get other people nominated? And do you believe he should have been nominated for an Oscar for Captain America Brave New World? Feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Mike, I knew that was on purpose. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about, bro. Yeah, but thank you for the support. I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. JN, Mackie is right though, and the MLK was solid. Was it? You sure? Nah, he's listen. The question is his acting performance elevating these other actors, or did he happen to be in the right place at the right time and those actors were going to get it anyway? I don't know. I mean, it's not like he was. I mean, Bryan Cranston is a good actor. Hollywood loves Ryan Gosling for whatever reason. Jeremy Renner is a good actor. So, do they need Anthony Mackie there? I don't know. Oh God, here we go. Baker, what you got? Hey, just make sure you have your Peacock sub so you can support season 2. Anthony Mackie is your guy. Coincidentally, I do have Peacock. Now, that shout out to some of the organizations I belong to. They paid for it. So listen. I'll tell you, I'll watch it after Andor. I still gotta watch Andor season 2. So y'all know how long that took me. So maybe we'll see. Marquise, what you got? Clarence made B Rabbit famous too. Well, I mean, I don't know if he won. I don't know if Eminem won awards for that though. Did he? If he did, then I mean, he might have a point. JN, Mackie was good in the Hurt Locker, the Adjustment Bureau, Detroit, as well as Night Catches Us, and The Banker. I think he meant that as CA is his award. That's all of those movies. I agree. No debate on that. He did a good job. Now, I don't know if Captain America is his award. I don't know. I think he wants that Oscar. I think he wants that nomination. I think keep in mind, this is a man who went to Juilliard. Okay. Juilliard is to actors what Harvard is for lawyers. So he knows or believes he's the guy. He's got the credentials and he's got the resume. So I could see him being a little bit feeling more entitled to the idea that he deserves an Oscar nomination. In the past, I would agree. Currently, not so much. 60 plus, Mackie is so thirsty. Well, hey, I mean, if that's how he feels, that's how he feels. I don't know. But thank you so much. I appreciate that from y'all. Okay. Let's get into some spicy stuff. I just want to say right here, right now, don't cancel me. I am just reporting the news. And South Park has, if you don't know, they have had a long history since the day they came out and debuted on Comedy Central of straight up not avoiding controversy. They don't care. No one is safe. Everyone catches it. Everyone gets made fun of. They don't discriminate. That's just who and what South Park is. And they have currently gone, they're now on season 27. Like they're really trying to be like the next version of The Simpsons. They are currently on season 27, and they came out with a bang. And in case you have not seen it, I can't even show you half of it. But they debuted with a picture with Donald Trump in bed with Satan. They also proceeded to comment on the size of his manhood multiple times. They depicted it, so they did show it. And they constantly made references to how small the manhood is and how quickly and this certain president will like to sue people that disagree with him or have objections to him. South Park wasted no time in attacking all of that. Now, if you're no stranger to politics, you know that this administration is going to waste no time to respond. And they did. They did. The White House has issued an official statement from this episode that debuted. And here's what they had to say. The left's hypocrisy truly has no end. For years, they have come after South Park for what they labeled as offensive content, but suddenly they're praising the show. Just like the creators of South Park, the left has no authentic or original content, which is why their popularity continues to hit record lows. This show hasn't been relevant for over 20 years and is hanging by a thread with uninspired ideas in a desperate attempt for attention. It says here the South Park premiere was entirely centered around Trump suing those who speak out against him. In addition to this, it did not stop with just the episode. Following the premiere, South Park launched a website to host the deepfake PSA that aired in the episode. In the clip, a deepfake Trump is seen wandering around the desert and stripping naked. I obviously cannot play that. If you want, you can do that yourself. So, what's funny is they're saying here that, hey, this show ain't popular. Don't nobody watch it. I mean, my question then is like, yo, why is it on for 27 seasons? Why is it on there? Right. But we recently just talked about how the Stephen Colbert show, the late night show, is getting canceled, and how, certain political pressures can affect things like that. Well, in case you did not know, it seems as though South Park made a very strategic move, because I think if at any other time had they released this episode, some way, somehow, a lawsuit would have been filed for defamation, or some other type of thing would have happened that might lead it to getting canceled. But we see here that they're going for their 27th season, and it looks like they will be getting a whole lot more, because Paramount who just struck their deal, right? They have struck a 5-year streaming deal worth $1.5 billion with South Park creators Trey Parker and Matt Stone. They're going to produce 10 new seasons per year. That means you got 5 more years of South Park after they waited. Keep in mind, Paramount is the same one that owns CBS, that was also dealing with the cancellation of the late night show and all the politics and all that stuff. Trey and Matt waited till that deal was signed and said, release the episode. The second they got that 5-year deal, $1.5 billion, and you can watch all of South Park on Paramount Plus right now. Brilliant. Brilliant. So whether this administration likes it or not, South Park ain't going nowhere. And they will outlast this current administration unless, they run for a third term, which is highly unconstitutional. But that's another show, another time. So, yikes. Yikes. Well played, gentlemen. Well played. And I would just say, I don't even have to play political sides on this. If I were in the administration, and this is honestly advice that you can take whether you're dealing with a comedian, because those are you never argue with a comedian. Just don't do it, especially if they're on stage with a mic, or a TV show, or anybody that has more social clout than you, especially if they're funny. Whatever you do, stop talking about it. Because this administration, the mere fact that you show that this bothers you, you're going to inspire them to make more. You will be a reoccurring character. If I'm not mistaken, because I haven't watched South Park in a while, I'm pretty sure Saddam Hussein had been on there multiple times. If I'm not mistaken, like they made fun of Saddam Hussein plenty of times, sleeping with Satan and stuff like that. It's not going to surprise me if Donald Trump becomes a recurring character if he continues to give them attention. We'll see. We'll see. But anyway, what do you guys think about this South Park story? How do you feel about, I don't know, making fun of the current administration? How do you feel about dropping this after the deal is signed? Whatever you think, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Tracy, you had to squint real hard, but SP did show, South Park did show it. See, that's, yeah, I'm not squinting. I don't, no, thank you. No, thanks. No, thanks. But thank you for that. Jay, and South Park better be careful. DC is going through it. I mean, I don't know. Like, first of all, I think legally it is satire. So I think that if they could get away with making fun of all the other people that they have, I think they could be okay here too. I think. But we'll see. We'll see. I read an article somewhere that said that, they made sure that their lawyers went through this first. So I think that they are very, very careful before they drop these type of episodes, because they know anybody could come after them, but they know these loopholes too. They know that, like, oh, well, this is satire and this is this, and we make fun of everybody. So we're not, I don't know. Not to mention, like, do you even want to admit that that's you? You know what I'm saying? Like, if they take your character and make that character such a characterization or caricature of you, do you really want to say, y'all making fun of me? No, that's not me. Listen, if it was me and they had me out there with a micro like that, I'd be like, ha ha, that's not me. Y'all not talking about me. Why would I be offended? If it's not true, that's not me. No, thank you. Nope. That's not me. Not at all. Like you just, it's just a whole hit dog will holler situation. That's how it's coming off. So anyway, I think I'm gonna go watch this episode just to give it ratings because I'm curious. I just want to see what we talking about here. Anyway, let's move on. We have. Let's do some DC updates. So we have a lot of DC updates. James Gunn has been going around talking about things. We've had some news as well. So let's kind of go through this. First off, we have a little bit about Clayface that is coming out. I believe this is going to be an Elseworld story, if I'm not mistaken. Or no, I think this is in the DCU. But we do have Naomi Ackie. She is going to be joining the cast. I believe she's going to be the co-lead for Clayface, joining Tom Reese Harris, who's going to play the actual villain. So that is going to be interesting. Now we do have some news about what Clayface is going to be about. Finally, it says with Clayface, which sources have said will have a budget of in the mid 40 million range. That's really low. Centers on an ascending actor whose face is disfigured by a gangster. As a last resort, the actor turns to a fringe Elizabeth Holmes style scientist for help. At first, the experiment is successful, but, well, it wouldn't be a horror movie if the story ended right there, would it? So clearly, he is going to be going through some sort of, if you know, in the comics and in the cartoon, he can change his appearance. He's going to become almost like this monster. And from everything we're hearing so far, Clayface is supposed to be like a horror, like a straight up horror story. So this is, in my opinion, if they do something like that, I'm with it because I really like the idea of giving us completely different tones when it comes to different movies like this. So if you want to make Clayface a horror, go for it. I am down for that. We also have James Gunn, I believe, was saying this here in the interview. But The Flash and Aquaman, don't expect to see them introduced in the DCU within the next 2 years. So all that tells me is that this is going to be even longer for us to even come close to a Justice League movie. A Justice League movie clearly is not going to happen until, maybe 2030, give or take. If we're lucky, maybe 2032, because maybe they want to do a solo Flash movie and get the other Flash movie out of our minds. And maybe they want to bring in a different Aquaman. They might want to do that. So we'll have to wait and see what goes on with that. Next up, we have Gorilla Grodd will reportedly be in the Jimmy Olsen spinoff series. I will say this is a rumor, by the way, but I will say that I am so weary. I don't know. I liked Jimmy Olsen in the Superman movie. I did not think he was terrible. I understood the running joke. It was fine. Nothing about Jimmy Olsen said, I need more of him in a standalone series. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I mean, we'll see what happens with this, but I cannot say just off of the sound of this, it will make me interested, but we'll have to wait and see what the DCU has up their sleeve. Speaking of which, James Gunn also says that he is not writing Creature Commandos season 2. I kind of have a little bit of a love-hate for this. I actually liked Creature Commandos. I thought the series was pretty good. However, there were some moments in that series that I was like, all right, y'all doing too much. Like the humor was kind of sick a little bit, especially when it came to the whole Frankenstein situation. That was nasty. It was there's no other way to put it. It was disgusting. It was very disgusting. But that's James Gunn's humor. And while I'm cool with them not doing that, I am a little curious, like, well, what is Creature Commandos gonna do? Because this is something that clearly has his fingerprints all over it. So maybe it's for the better, maybe it's not sure, but Creature Commandos at least will not be from James Gunn. And I guess that kind of goes into what he has always been saying, which is the DCU is not going to be just one voice. It's not going to be the Gunn verse. And that's good. We don't want it to be that because everybody don't like James Gunn like that. I like him, but everybody isn't, 100% on board with his style. So if you're going to make a broad universe and you want to get the most people in, you do want to mix things up. Speaking of which, especially when it comes to uh Justice League, the Wonder Woman movie is being fast tracked at DC Studios, which obviously is a good thing. And when it comes to fast track, keep in mind James Gunn has been always consistent that he is not going to move forward unless there is a script. He needs a good script first, and then they can move forward after that. So Wonder Woman is getting fast tracked. And we have Anna Noguera. She is writing the script for the Wonder Woman movie. So at least that is in the works. Now, Anna is also writing the script. She wrote it for Supergirl, and she's currently writing the Teen Titans movie script. Now, this is where I'm a little cautious. First of all, I don't know Anna's work as a writer. And this is where I'm a little curious about James Gunn as an executive. Now, I'm going to trust what he said, which is when we have a good script, we'll move forward with it. They're not going to move forward with anything unless the script is really good. I have to trust that he believes Anna and her scripts are just great. Because in my mind, sure, you could hire her to do Supergirl. That's fine. I would wait. Before you go writing Teen Titans, before you go writing Wonder Woman, how about we wait? Because what happens, Mr. Gunn, if you have another Flash situation? Let's not forget, Flash came out. Gunn wasn't all that involved. He was a little bit involved because it was a little before his time and it was already going through production hell. But Gunn came in, talked about how it was one of the best superhero movies, blah, blah, blah. And then before the movie came out, he took the director, Andy Muschietti, and said, oh, he's going to direct Batman Brave and the Bold. Before we could even get the Flash out there. So now he had the Flash movie with Ezra Miller flop, like flop, bad flop. I don't even think they made their money back flop. And you already promised by having this other guy from the failed movie to be on your biggest franchise movie that you got coming up with Batman. I'm just saying, why don't you just wait? Because what are you going to do if Supergirl is terrible? If the writing in Supergirl is atrocious and it just does not work for audiences, why would they go watch Teen Titans? Why would they go watch Aquawoman? Or not Aquawoman, Wonder Woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to have that problem by putting the cart in front of the horse. Slow down. Now, I'm hoping that this works out. But from my knowledge, Anna is a actress, right? I think she did stage plays or something like that. But I think she did stage scripts, like plays and stuff. She wrote those. But when you look on her IMDb, I didn't see nothing. So I'm like, you giving all this to a rookie for your starting franchise? Those scripts must have blown you away, I guess. Okay. Good luck. We'll just have to wait and see. But I do think that this feels a little premature, especially with major characters that you really will need to work for you. You really will. Last but not least, of course, James Gunn was doing some interviews, and they asked him, like, hey, what's up with Batman? What's up with Alan Richardson? He said, I'm a big Alan Richardson fan, both as an actor and as a guy. Let's just wait and see what happens. Now, I watched this video of him talking about it. At least looking at the body language, I did not see anything from him suggesting that he had already cast Alan Richardson or anything like that. I think he actually meant this, that yes, he just likes the guy, but maybe he does have someone else in mind. I hope he does. I hope he does. I've said this multiple times. I'd have no personal gripe with Alan Richardson. I like the guy. I think he is awesome. I did an interview with him once for Reacher. Super nice. I know people that know him, like personally. I know his colleagues. People speak highly of him. Dude is a good guy, straight, all of that stuff. Straight arrow. But sir, you're too big. Pause. Like, you're too large. Like, you're on camera. I don't think people understand how difficult this will look. And I know I have talked about how when people are short, you can usually work around that. Or if people are tall, all you got to do is stagger them, right? And the camera angles, and that works. The problem is with Alan Richardson, this dude is massive. He's a big, hulking guy. So the question here, hold on, let me see, how tall is he? Let me see how tall he is too. Richardson height. He's 6'3". He's 6'3". Let me see. Average height of Hollywood male actor. 5'10". The average height. All I'm saying is this. I want y'all to imagine Alan Richardson, big swole Mr. Reacher. Now, maybe if he slimmed down, maybe. But I want y'all to just tell me if you can suspend your belief that this 6'3", super massive Bane-looking dude can walk around in a suit and pretend to be Bruce Wayne, and then when he goes and puts a suit on, ain't nobody gonna sit here and say, hey man, ain't that big swole motherfucker? Ain't that Bruce Wayne? You don't see that many big swole 6'3" people just walking around. They stick out like a sore thumb. Even if you go to your local gym, that big 6'3" dude with a big old wingspan, he stands out. Y'all think Bruce Wayne just gonna blend in like that? It's not gonna make sense. I'm telling y'all, it's not. Stop thinking about the comics, okay? Stop. In the comics, they can draw everybody big and stupid and all that stuff. It's not going to work in the movies. Again, maybe he slims down. Maybe he does. But I just don't think it's going to work. I don't know. I think visually it's going to be awkward when Batman is bigger than everyone, and then all of a sudden, oh, it's fine. Let me just get in my suit here, and no one will notice. Like, all right, I guess we've had years of Batman that showed you Batman does not need to be big and swole. Years, and we were just fine. Just fine. He's bigger than Ben Affleck, by the way. I like Ben Affleck's Batman. He was cool, but he was also kind of stuffy too, He's bigger than Ben Affleck. Man. Anyway, y'all let me know. What do you think about all those DCU updates? Feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. All right, let's go. Let's do some terrific updates. So if you have watched Superman, you already know that Eddie Gathegi has been he made his debut as Mr. Terrific, and I've always rooted for this guy. I've always liked him as an actor. I got a chance to meet him one time and just kind of chit chat with him. And this was a couple years before any of the DC stuff even was announced. But really humble guy, really down to earth, very nice, very kind. Love talking to him. But of course, all of us, I think we all were on the same page when we was like, yo, justice for Darwin. If you recall, he played Darwin in X-Men First Class, and he was done the most bogus. And of course, this whole press tour, everyone's asking him about Darwin. Everyone's asking him, like, how'd you feel about your character, so on. So he did have this to say. It says here, Eddie Gathegi reveals he was told that Darwin would be resurrected in a future film after X-Men First Class when he voiced his concerns. He said, I was like, killing the black guy first is so played out. I can't do this. We held on to the hope that they would honor their word. This is Fox, by the way. When I didn't come back for X-Men Apocalypse, I just knew it was done. Man, first y'all do this man bogus. Then y'all sit here and just give him the false hope that he might come back. And the thing is, there was no reason why he couldn't come back. No reason. He could have always came back as part of his mutant ability to, I don't know, grow back from like a cell or something. I don't know. That was his whole ability, was to survive anything. Terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. But he does talk about his role with Mr. Terrific, and I do think that him playing Mr. Terrific is a good thing. I like his portrayal of him so far, and I like what he thinks about this character. And he says here that he hopes Mr. Terrific makes an impact to show kids to embrace their intellect or nerdiness. And he says there's an opportunity to create new norms for kids, black kids, but also all kids who are told they're too smart or nerdy or quiet. Mr. Terrific inspires them to feel like they can be themselves. It's their intellect that's powerful. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. This is the same energy Chadwick Boseman had with Black Panther. It's the same energy. And this is why it's so important to showcase these type of characters, because that way they will be able to be an inspiration for others. Now, do I think a whole bunch of little kids are going to be running around trying to be Mr. Terrific? Probably not. But I don't know. All it takes is one, right? As long as one kid can sit here and be like, hey, there's a smart guy that looks like me, talks like me, walks like me, whatever. Cool. Cool. So I do like that. Shout out to all the blurs out there. That's really dope. And we had rumors about this, but it looks like we got a little more evidence that DC has filed a new trademark for quote unquote Mr. Terrific. And Eddie Gathegi, previously said that he signed a multi-project deal, and the Wall Street Journal did report that a spinoff series is being considered. So that is an indication that we are going to get either a TV spinoff series or a full movie for him. Now, given what we've heard in that same Wall Street Journal article, remember, the guy all the way at the top, David Zaslav, was talking about Black Superman. Too woke. It's too woke for me. So something tells me this will be regulated to a TV series. You'll get the Terrifics. You'll get Eddie Gathegi back. I don't think DC has the courage, and I'm going to say this straight up, I don't think DC has the courage to give Black solo lead movies to Black characters. They'll give them a TV series. They'll give them a co-star, who's usually white. They'll give them an ensemble so they can kind of blend it all in. But a Black solo lead movie, DC ain't got the courage. They don't have the guts to do that. And the sad part is, it's literally what made the DC Comics lack diversity in the first place. It's why Milestone Comics Milestone Media had to come about, because they weren't doing their black characters right to begin with. So you don't do your black characters justice in the comics. You have a whole spinoff of black characters that show and prove that they can work, which, by the way, this is why there are complexities as to why we can't get a Static Shock movie or anything like that, because DC doesn't own the explicit rights to do that however they want. And the problem that I have is the fact that you look at the effect and the power of black movies, black culture specifically. When you give black culture something that is unique, if not relatable to them, to us, we will make it hot. There's no reason why there should be any doubt about that, where Sinners is like one of the highest rated, one of the highest grossing horror movies of all time. I think it's like top 10 for the horror movies. Like, that's ridiculous to think that black is not going to be successful in Hollywood. Never mind, Into the Spider-Verse and that success. Never mind the Black Panther movies that make almost like, almost $2 billion combined. Like, this hesitancy is ridiculous. Anyway, shout out to Eddie Gathegi, and I do hope the Terrifics, whatever, if they want to do the show, movie, I think it'll be great. I'll be watching. I'll support it. But anyway, you guys let me know. How do you feel about what he had to say about Mr. Terrific? Do you even want to see a TV show? Do you want it as a movie? Whatever you think, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. All right. Riga, what you got? 14 Emmy noms. Put respect on Andor. Stop. What? Meh. Whatever. A lot of things. Hey, TV shows get nominations every day, B. Every day. Whatever. That's nice. I watched the first season. I could at least say that. JN, the female Black Green Lantern comics are great. See, there you go. But that's the problem, right? No one will know that until you put that in a movie, and then it will. I mean, look at Black Panther. Black Panther got such a push in the comic relevancy. It had been around for 50 years, right? But it wasn't until the movie came out, or I'm sorry, it wasn't until he debuted on Civil War that all of a sudden the interest started to peak. All of a sudden you got Taika Waititi, not Taika Waititi, Ta-Nehisi Coates coming in to write, the his own series, and you started to see an uptick in the comics and the animation and the portrayals. The merchandise started to go up. All these things started to happen once the movies gave them a push. So DC has all the power. James Gunn has all the power to make what some people think might not be popular, especially with black characters. He could make them popular. I don't know if they're tied up in character rights right now, but I think a Black Lightning movie right now could be an easy thing for them to do. You already had a TV show, so it's not a completely unknown character, and I do think we would turn up for a Black Lightning movie, depending on who they cast as well. But anyway, thank you for that. Appreciate you, JN. Famous, what you got? Hey, E-Man and E-Fam. DC can correct the reputation with black characters by casting Keke Palmer as the next Wonder Woman. They will never do that. They will never do that. Like, I'm a Keke fan, but that's not going to happen. That is not going to happen. The closest you might get is if you made her Bumblebee or if you made her Vixen, maybe. But Wonder Woman, you trying to tank DC. Are you kidding me? You gonna take these no, that's suicide. Well, that is suicide. And I'm just saying, I know Zaslav would never let that go. He would just not. That just wouldn't happen. Not on his watch. All right, let's go into some James Gunn updates. So he also did some round of press as well, especially with the success of Superman happening lately. So let's kind of go through a couple things. Let's start off nice. So first of all, because I know some of y'all are still out there. I know some of y'all still want to hate on things. Let me tell you. James Gunn does not hate Henry Cavill. He said he would love to cast Henry Cavill in the DCU. Now, would he cast him as a Superman or somebody else? Who knows? But he does not have a problem with that at all. Now, I listened to the podcast that this was about, and basically James Gunn was talking about how he came in while it was like the wild, wild west. I'm paraphrasing here a lot. But he came in when it was like the wild, wild west of WB. Keep in mind, they were going through all different types of executives. People were getting fired left and right. And then because they were so desperate, you had Zaslav and other people just kind of green lighting a bunch of different things. So Matt Reeves, he had his whole Batman thing where he was like, all right, we're going to do this. But then The Rock came in and was like, hey, I want to do this with Black Adam. But while I'm doing this with Black Adam, I want to bring Henry Cavill back too. So The Rock kind of strong-armed his way in, forced his way in. Now they gonna be nice about it. Like James Gunn ain't really gonna, if you listen to the podcast, he doesn't say The Rock's name or anything, but he is talking about The Rock. Okay. And he was just like, yo, The Rock was trying to do some things that basically Zaslav was like, nah. He had his agreements with the previous, executives, but Zaslav was like, nah, we're not doing that. So if you think about it, what really messed up Henry Cavill as Superman, it wasn't James Gunn. Granted, James Gunn was always going to do his own thing, right? But what made it messy was that Rock forced the idea of having Henry Cavill in, trying to rejuvenate the whole DCEU, the Snyderverse. But in true classic Snyder fan fashion, nobody showed up. All them hashtags, all them tweets, all that restore the Snyderverse, all of that. And y'all did not show up for Black Adam to prove, because imagine if Black Adam would have made $1 billion, maybe the Snyderverse would have continued. Maybe James Gunn would have been out of a job. Who knows? But people didn't show up. Apparently, they showed up on iTunes instead. Black Adam became #1 over there, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. But I love the fact that James Gunn has gone out of his way to just let people know I would have no problem casting Henry Cavill in the DCU. And he would probably be a different character, by the way. So I like that. There is no idea here that he hates Henry Cavill or nothing like that. He's good friends with him. And he even said that it was Henry Cavill that volunteered to say, let me tell people I'm not going to, that I'm out of it. Let me post that. Because James Gunn and they were going to make the announcement, but he was like, nah. Henry Cavill's like, let me do it. So good guy, stand-up guy, and their friends, they're all good. Speaking of friends, I also got to throw a little extra in there. Zack Snyder says that he plans to see James Gunn's Superman as soon as he can. He said, opening weekend, I don't think I'm seeing it because I have a horse show. My kids ride horses, but I'm going to try and see it right after that. Uh-oh. What is wrong? Somebody's brains are melting right now. Is that his hand on top of... Are they... They can't be friends. They can't be friends. I don't... Okay. Zack Snyder must be held hostage. He must be getting kidnapped because there's no way he can be okay with James Gunn, right? They can't be friends, even though they made a whole movie together and they've been friends for years. They can't be friends because that goes against every Snyderite principle in the holy book of Snyderisms. This can't happen. Now, let me say this. In case you forgot, actually, I do want to keep this up because somebody gonna be mad. If you recall, Zack Snyder did have the terrible, terrible tragedy happen with his daughter, who did commit suicide. So, to me, if this man wants to do anything with his family, I'm not saying, sir, take your time. Take your time. You are under no obligation to do anything besides being with your family at all times. So the first and foremost, shout out to him being a great dad in that fashion. But I love the fact that this man will not, even though he has in the past, he has fanned the flames of the Snyderites. I do like the fact that he will show some respect. I like the fact that he is still friends. Matter of fact, he was just in a Rick and Morty episode with James Gunn as they were both in the episode together. So I just love bursting people's bubbles, letting them know this ain't what you want it to be. These guys are friends. They're cool. They're fine. They like each other. They watch each other's movies. It's okay. It's okay. By the way, the DCU EU is dead. The Snyderverse is dead. It's gone. It's finished. But it's okay. It's fine. You can go get the DVDs. Anywho, we have some issues going on with Superman. And James Gunn also decided to weigh in on this. So the thing with Superman is the fact that domestically, it's doing great numbers, right? It's making some good money, but internationally, the money is not hitting like it used to. So James Gunn does have some thoughts on this, and he weighed in on it. It says here, Superman continues to dominate the domestic box office after 2 weeks. The Man of Steel hasn't, but the Man of Steel hasn't translated quite the same to international audiences. Gunn said, we're definitely performing better domestically than we are internationally, but internationally, it's also rising and having really good weekday numbers in the same way we are. So obviously, the word of mouth is very positive, both here and everywhere else. Now, Superman is not a known commodity in some places. He is not a big known superhero in some places like Batman is. That affects things. And it also affects things that we have a certain amount of anti-American sentiment around the world right now. It isn't helping us. It isn't really helping us. So, in case you just did not know, when you try to put America first by hurting other international allies or other countries that we do trades with, it's going to cause problems. It's going to cause problems because, like it or not, regardless of your political affiliation, we live in a world that even if you are number one, you still need the aid of other countries around you. You still got to play nice. And if you don't play nice, if you take away aid from other countries and services, if you levying huge tariffs and you're making ridiculous deals and you're making certain comments like we're going to invade your country or we're going to make you a 51st state, other countries might just be like, yo, forget y'all. Forget what y'all got to offer too. If you don't play nice with them, you're going to F around and find out. And right now, unfortunately, that could be the case going on right now. Now, I don't know. I don't know what the international sentiment or knowledge is with Superman. I've always been under the impression that everybody knows Superman. I don't care what country you're in. You know that S on the chest. but I could be wrong, But anyway, that's the way James Gunn thinks. He thinks that it actually is a reason why the international numbers are not working. I don't know. Now he does say about Superman that Superman is very important in his next film, but it's not a direct Superman sequel. He says the film will not be world's finest, nor will it be a Batman v Superman movie. So whatever it is that he's thinking of for the next thing that he does, it's going to have Superman in it, but I don't believe it's going to be a Justice League movie because we're not going to get Flash or Aquaman for a while. And he's saying it's not world finest or Batman and Superman. So, and it's not a sequel. So it seems like it's going to be something else. It seems like it's going to be a conjuring of something else. So we'll have to wait and see on that. When asked if Black Adam and Shazam, Fury of the Gods, are DCU canon because of the cameos from Harcourt and all those people from Peacemaker, James Gunn said they're not canon. I hate it. Now, let's go into what he means by that a little bit more. And he says that they're not canon. Now, in case you did not know, Black Adam, I don't think any of it could be canon because of the whole Henry Cavill thing. But Shazam 2 might. That one might. But we'll see. He says here, there are certain things from the old universe that we refer to in Peacemaker Season 2. But until then, they're not canon. Almost everything from Season 1 is canon, but Season 2 will explain everything that is or is not canon. So, Stamina, you saying Gunn debunked that? Did he debunk this article? This Den of Geek one? If that's the case, I mean, okay. I don't know. I don't know if he did or not. But one way or another, it does seem as though, okay, so that exact one you're saying he did debunk it. Okay, I mean, okay. But it does say in a different article, it says if people, James Gunn says, they're building the DCU towards a big event that is not what anyone thinks after Superman. If people watch the next season of Peacemaker, they'll see where a lot of these things are going. Okay. So yeah, thank you. Send that to me on Twitter, please. So if I'm reading this correctly, one way or another, James Gunn is really putting a lot of importance or significance on Peacemaker Season 2. So if you were thinking about skipping it, if you were thinking that this wouldn't be an important viewing, it sounds like it will be. It sounds like this is something that you're really going to have to watch to figure out what's canon and quote unquote, what is this big mystery? Now, I like the idea of what he's saying, where he says it's not what anyone thinks, because the big thing that a lot of people were thinking about was, oh, maybe you're going to do Blackest Night. Maybe you're going to do Annihilation. Maybe you're going to do one of those big stories that are almost like Infinity War and Endgame, how those are to Marvel. But I'm here for this if James Gunn finds a way to create something or in a big event that wasn't even in the comics. If it's something unique to itself, I'm with that. I'm with it. So if that happens, cool by me. Cool by me. So that'd be kind of cool. Injustice. Ooh. So I think it's a little too early for Injustice, but I would love to see it. I would love to see it. I mean, the whole point of Injustice is showing that after you've built up all the positive stuff, right? So I don't think we would get a good Injustice movie until maybe 10 years. You got to give us 10 years of good Superman, good Batman, and then all of a sudden you flip it. Then you go dark. But if you go dark early, kind of like the way Zack Snyder did, I don't think that works very well overall. So we'll see. All right. You guys let me know, how do you feel about all those James Gunn updates? Did you like them, not like them? Anything you were interested in? Feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. All right. Um bu- 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 Okay, I think it is time. I should get my, let's do the Fantastic Four, and I'll give you guys my review for the Fantastic Four first steps. So, the Fantastic Four first steps is Marvel Studios' first crack at trying to do the Fantastic Four. We already know that we've seen this movie happen a couple of times. Some of it, some of us we never wanted to see, like that early 90s one that thankfully didn't really make the light of day like that. But we do have the this new one here to deal with. So let's kind of go through. I'll give you a quick intro about it. It says here, forced to balance their roles as heroes with the strength of their family bond, the Fantastic Four must defend Earth from a ravenous space god called Galactus and his herald, the Silver Surfer. All right, so let me start off with what I thought was good in the story. And I think the first thing that really caught my attention was the very beginning of all of this. And what I loved was just how much they transported us into a whole completely, like a completely different world. And I think that that's what really helped me get into this film, like, just, with no effort. Like, it's a different world. They kick it off by telling you, hey, this is Earth 828. It's a completely different universe, different history. And to me, it made me feel like this was a very unique, separate place in the MCU that I've never seen before. And I think this is one of the reasons why Matt Shackman was hired to do this, because he did a great job with WandaVision and giving us something similar, where you're having like these retro but yet futuristic type of situations. I like that. It kind of reminded me of like Star Wars, how they have dated old technology, but at the same time, it's very futuristic, almost like the Jetsons in a sense. So I love the setting and the world building that they brought about here. And then I would say the next thing we got to talk about is definitely the performances. I really thought that the cast overall did a good job. I enjoyed the performances from a number of them. I mean, Sue Storm, played by Vanessa Kirby, I think she was excellent. She was clearly the MVP. They put a lot of respect on her name. And by the way, just so no one says that, this is accurate to the comics as well. Sue Storm is that gal in the comics, so don't get it twisted. But I loved how they were able to show different sides of her character. I liked how she was able to just portray different sides of her character. Like, she's not just one thing. She could be motherly, she could be vulnerable, she can be stern, she could be courageous, she could be a capable leader, and listen, she will call you out if she needs to, So I really, really liked her. I thought they did a really good job with her. Um, I think that who else was it? I liked Joseph Quinn. Joseph Quinn, who plays Johnny Storm. I thought he was a real standout. I liked his comedic delivery. I thought he did a good job with his timing. He had really good ability to, like, just demonstrate that his character was not just one dimensional. I like the fact that they kind of made him no longer the straight up womanizer, that he used to be. Like, he was just, oh, Johnny's a playboy, like, they kind of got away from that. And I like that. They showed that, he could be smart too. They showed that, there's more to him than just being the hotshot guy, so I really did appreciate them doing that. And then, of course, we got Pedro Pascal. I thought he did a good job as Reed Richards. I will admit I was a little nervous, not because I don't think Pedro doesn't have skills. He does. But I was like, he wasn't my first pick. But you know what? I think he did a good job. He convinced me that his character is obviously incredibly smart, but at the same time, he looked like and portrayed a person that was always stuck in their head. Like it was always like, man, I got to figure out this problem. I got to do this. Oh, yeah, by the way, I need to be a good husband. Oh, yeah, by the way, I need to be a good brother in law. Whatever. Like, it's like his head is always in thinking about stuff, but at the same time, oh yeah, I got to remember to be like a human being, So I really enjoyed him, and I thought he had really good chemistry with Vanessa Kirby as well, who played Sue. And also, I like Ben and Johnny. Um, I like their connection together. I thought that they were fun together when they interacted, their little jokes and stuff. That was cool. And they made really good uncles as well. So I thought they did a good job with that. Now, there was one big concern, big concern that I had going into this movie, and it was with Galactus. And just to kind of give a little background, in the comics, the issue I've always had with Galactus is it was the scaling, right? Because sometimes you would see Galactus as like his face is like right here and Earth was like right here. Like it was always like, how you gonna fight that? How you gonna fight somebody that big, right? Or he would be some other type of form where, like, I mean, you've seen it in the movies where he was like a cloud. How you fighting a cloud? What are you talking about? So it was always the depiction of Galactus and how in the comics or in the animation, how do you fight something like that? That was my concern. But you know what? They did it here. They did a good job, I think. They used practical costuming on him. I thought the special effects on him were done very well. And they basically made him the size of a kaiju, right? He's Godzilla size. He's King Kong size. I like that because that still made him larger than life, but at the same time, he was approachable, right? Like he wasn't just somebody that you couldn't do anything to. He was still, you could still have a fight with him. And I thought that was key, and they nailed that. So I'm glad they did that. And Ralph Ineson, I think he captured the whole devouring, world conquering type of villain character. I think he did a good job with it too. Anywho, besides all that, I thought that the plot was done pretty well. I liked what they did with it. I liked the action. I like how they just jumped right into the introduction. It was just like, hey man, here go the Fantastic Four, and this is what they do. Right? I thought they did a great job with that. Just to kind of really throw you into it. I like the space chases. That space chase, that was serious. I thought they did a fantastic job with that. I was on the edge of my seat with that whole scene. And then of course the big battle at the end, I thought they nailed that as well. So those moments I thought were really, really done well. And I think I also really liked the themes that they used in this film, especially obviously the theme of family is important here. But I think what resonated the most was like how you put the characters in the most difficult position to make I would say an impossible decision, right? I mean, you probably saw it if you saw the trailers because the trailers spoil everything anyway. But I like that because I think the stakes were raised in the film and it helped maintain a sense of urgency, and it kept the movie interesting for the most part. It was kind of like, okay, like you got your decision. What you gonna do now? So I like how they handled that. But going back to the themes, I thought the themes were handled really well. The whole family theme is obviously central to this because they literally are a family. I liked what they did, especially from the perspective of being a parent, right? I love the concept of seeing characters faced with like that crazy impossible decision, and I think that they really helped to make this movie feel more personal in a sense. It wasn't more like yes, you have the whole element of we have to save the world, but at the same time, it was like my family, you know, and that's something that I think usually escapes a lot of movies where if you don't have that personal element there, it's hard to relate with the characters. And this one I know I related to. So I like that theme as well with the whole family stuff. Anyway, for the bad of this film, whew, I think that one thing that stood out almost immediately for me was some of the CGI, some of the VFX. And it was early in the movie. Ben Grimm looked terrible. They made Ben Grimm look very bad. Now, he looks fine later, but in the first, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes of the movie, I was like, this dude looks like a cartoon. Now I know he's obviously, all motion capture and stuff like that, but they clearly did not take their time early in the movie to finish the effects, and it was a little disturbing. And arguably, I'd say also in other parts of the movie as well. I mean, there were times where it was kind of like, what are you even holding? Look at Reed's hand right there. What are you touching? You're not even touching because it's not real. It's not real. Like, what are you doing? So, man, them VFX was bad. Some of those VFX looked unfinished. Some of them looked bad. I mean, I would say like the Silver Surfer, that one looked fine. That was good. But nah, the rest of that, it was shoddy. They should have delayed it and finished that production. Last but not least, I would just say that the second act of the movie, the pacing kind of dragged a little bit. First act, great. You got the action, it's popping, it's crazy, it's good. Second act, it's a whole lot of talking. There's a whole lot of exposition and all that stuff. And then the third act picks everything all the way up. So I would just say that the second act just kind of slowed a little bit. I think it kind of disrupted the flow and tempo, not to the point that it's a deal breaker, but I did kind of notice. I was like, man, what are we doing? But anyway, let me go on now to my reason overall with this film. Listen, I would say that the Fantastic Four First Steps, it's a fun comic ride that's got a little bit of everything for everyone. The movie takes the concept of family and it runs wild with it. And I think it does cross the finish line, right? I think there was no need for it to be an origin story, and it successfully accomplished its goal of not needing any type of homework, like at all. You could literally just walk in, not watching any Marvel movies or TV shows, and be just fine. And I would argue that Fantastic for the First Steps, this was a good start for the beginning of Phase 6 to really just kind of also set up Avengers Doomsday. So I thought that they did a good job with this overall. When it comes to the rating, I had it at first at a 7.5, but I think I'm going to bump it up to an 8 out of 10. I had a good time with it. I enjoyed it. I am very okay rewatching it. That's also kind of important. And by the way, be sure to stay for the post-credit scenes. Hopefully nobody spoiled it for you online yet. First post-credit scene is probably the most important one. Second one, don't feel like you got to stay. It's just one of those little throwaways or whatever. But I would say that, yeah, Fantastic Four First Steps, good start to Phase 6, good movie, worth watching in theaters. Go check it out. So you guys let me know, have you seen Fantastic Four The First Steps? Do you plan on watching it? If and when you do, come on back to this video. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. All right. Dex, what you got? F4 was solid. Looks great. Story works. Only issue for me is too much time in the Baxter building. Yes. You can't clobber something in a sweater vest. 8 out of 10. Yes. I think that time is kind of like what I was talking about for like the second act. Like it was just kind of like, we're not doing anything. Like we're talking. There's a lot of talking, but do something. But yeah, I'm with you on that for sure. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. Thank you so much for that. All right. So now let us go ahead and start talking about some Marvel stuff. We have a lot of Marvel stuff because Kevin Feige was just making the rounds, going around talking about a whole bunch of stuff. So first, let's talk about Kevin Feige talking about Spider-Man. As we already know, Spider-Man Brand New Day is coming, and we know that the Punisher is also going to appear in there, and he goes ahead and gives his thoughts on that as well. So in this interview, he says here about being the beginning of a proper Spider-Man era in the MCU. He says, I think there's a promise at the end of No Way Home that for as sad as it is that Peter is forgotten by everyone in his life, we are seeing for the first time in the Tom Holland Spider-Man stories him being a proper Spider-Man, him being by himself, dedicated to saving the city and dealing with, like for better terms, street level crime as opposed to world ending events. Now, this is interesting because if you guys recall, we had talked about some of the rumors that were saying Sony wanted a multiverse, bring back, Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, the GOAT, and bring them all back. And we're going to do a multiverse thing with Spider-Man all over again. And Tom Holland and Kevin Feige was like, man, we got to keep this street level. We got to, because that's what Spider-Man is. Spider-Man is not the guy that's like, let me go to space and fight Thanos. That's not him, right? Like, his job is to be the everyday average street hero in New York and just fight crime there, right? So I like the idea that they are actually going to go back to the roots, to what works, to what made the hero popular in the first place. Stan Lee, even when he was creating Spider-Man, he was like, that's what I want Spider-Man to be. I want him to be a regular, everyday guy who goes to school, who has relationship issues, who has insecurities, who puts on a mask and feels confidence. He wants him to be relatable. You not gonna have a relatable Spider-Man dealing with the multiverse, going out to the galaxy and fighting this monster and this alien. Yo, it's too much. It's too much. Leave that for the Avengers. Leave that for the Guardians of the Galaxy. Leave that alone. Let this man, help out the dude at the bodega. Okay? Let him go fight the crime, in Brooklyn and come back to Manhattan in time. And, let him be, please. Anyway, so I'm happy that we're getting confirmation about that it's going to be more street level. Now he does go on talking about a little bit more. He says, so I think this is where is he talking about Punisher yet? Oh yeah. Okay. So he's talking about like new characters that Spider-Man hasn't dealt with yet. So when you do that, you say, okay, who are the other street level characters that we've never seen him interact with? And of course, I love that the Punisher started in the Spider-Man comic, that great cover. I don't want to say too much, but Destin Daniels, I will say too much. Destin is doing an amazing job right now on that movie, which starts shooting very soon. And he's got 8 or 9 comic covers up on his wall in his art department that he is bringing to life in this movie, which is super cool. So I love that. It looks like we are going to have Spider-Man dealing with other street level heroes. We've already seen him deal with, or at least feature, Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil. So having Punisher there as well, perfect. That works out just fine. I would love to see that happen. So you guys let me know, how do you feel about Spider-Man notes and the talk about where you will see him? Do you like him being a street level, or do you want him to do something else? Whatever you think, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. All right. Let's do do we want to do this one? Okay, let's do the bigger one first. No, let's do the semi-bigger one first. Okay. This one is because it's a lot of I had to shrink a lot of these things down because Kevin Feige did like this big old press conference thing, and it just had like a whole lot of everything all over the place. So I'm just gonna give you guys the nitty gritty of it. Okay, let me just call this. All right, let's just do this one for now, and then we could jump into the other aspects of the interview later. Um, okay, so again, this is Kevin Feige when he was doing like this big press junket, and he says here, for the first time ever, quantity trumped quality. And he's talking about the state of the MCU when basically the movie started to suck. And he's saying it was quantity trumped quality. We spent 12 years working on the Infinity Saga, saying that's never going to happen to us. We always had more characters than we could possibly make because we weren't going to make a movie a month. Suddenly, there's a mandate to make more, and we go, well, we do have more. Now, what he's referring to, in case people are wondering, once again, Disney made the mandate. The reason why Marvel started to suck the last 4 years, 5 years, is because Disney forced Marvel to do things that they were not ready for. Okay. Now, to be fair, Kevin Feige has come out and he said, hey, we did not do good, right? Like they already said, phase 4 was not good. Phase 5 has struggled. So he's admitted that already. Bob Iger has come back. Like, well, thankfully, Bob Iger came back and said, yo, y'all got to scale back. We not doing all this drop a movie every other month and another TV show. And y'all got to slow down because while everybody thought streaming was going to kill the movie theaters and it was going to take over, it didn't. Streaming is here. It changed, but the theaters are still a thing, right? So he is basically saying, like, yeah, like it was that whole mandate that was a problem. It was a factor. And as you would hope, they have adjusted, right? They changed up how they're doing TV shows now. They're scaling back. So that is a positive thing, at least, that they learned that they sucked and they're going to do better. So I do appreciate that. He says here in regards to the streaming shows, I think allowing a TV show to be a TV show is what we're returning to. He was asked if at the end of the events of asked if the events of the end of Thunderbolts, when most of the population of Manhattan was enveloped in an inky black shroud of depressive nothingness, they was asked if that would affect season 2 of the NYC based Disney Plus series Daredevil Born Again. And Feige was like, nah. Now, this is where I have a little bit of an issue, because I feel like this is where you're going to get into the Eternals issue. I like what he had to say about, yo, let the TV show be the TV show, right? If you watch this TV show, it's going to exist on its own. Obviously, it's in the MCU, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just going to be its own little thing. That's fine, right? Don't make me feel forced to watch this show. And if I haven't watched 10 other shows, I can't watch this. Don't do that. It's perfectly fine if the shows just kind of exist on their own merit. However, you're going to run into a problem, the Eternals problem. If you're going to have a big old event like the Century, putting everybody under that black ink and stuff, and y'all not going to talk about it, and you're in the same New York, that's the same situation that happened in Eternals, where a whole Celestial came out the water and didn't nobody even want to blink or say nothing about it. And now you're going to have the audience being like, wait, we going to act like that just didn't happen? So, yeah, I don't like that direction. Like, I'm going to need you to at least acknowledge some things. They don't have to be a major thing, but if it did bother the street level heroes, they should have something to say about it. At least something. Ooh, let's talk about DEI. Ooh, DEI. Since the massive success of 2018's Black Panther, Marvel has made a concerted effort to produce projects centered around women, people of color, and LGBTQ characters. Now, I know a lot of y'all be having issues with Marvel, specifically with black characters, but they have, listen, Captain Marvel, Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Eternals, The Marvels, Captain America, Brave New World, WandaVision, Ms. Marvel, She-Hulk, Secret Invasion, Echo, Agatha All Along. They've been putting out, I mean, that's diversity. You got the women's, you got the blacks, you got the indigenous peoples. Like you got a little bit of everything in there. You got a little bit of everything. Now, you know, when he was pressed on this, Feige appeared unconcerned. He said, Marvel represents the world outside your window. I've always said it before DEI and woke became a thing, and after DEI and woke became a thing. Are we after? I don't think so. So, you know, Kevin Feige still believes in diversity, still believes in inclusion and equity, and so on and so forth. Now, the problem, of course, is it seems like they tend to struggle when they move away from white male-led projects. Something happens, and it just does not always work out. So it's nice talk. It's nice talk that they've tried, you know, but some of those things now, is that a Kevin Feige issue? Is that a Marvel issue? Is that an audience issue? Like, has the audience just changed? I mean, the world is changing, the politics and stuff are changing. So I don't know. I don't know. My now somebody, I know we were talking about Miles Morales. What happens with the Miles Morales? He talked about that. Spider-Man, Miles Morales showing up in the MCU, he was asked about, and he says, that is nowhere until Sony completes its animated Miles trilogy with 2027's Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse. We've been told to stay away. So I want y'all to know that this is consistent with what Amy Pascal, who was also the Spider-Man producer, that's exactly what she said too. She already said that a live action Miles Morales movie was going to happen. However, she said, wait a minute, we got to finish the other Spider-Man stuff first, then we can get to Miles. So what do they have to do? They have to finish Spider-Man Brand New Day. That's first. Then they got to finish Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse. Once they get done with those things, then they can start working on a live action Spider-Man movie now, or Spider-Man Miles Morales movie. Now, here's the kicker. In the meantime, Amy Pascal told Kevin Feige, stay away. Why? Because Sony owns the right to Spider-Man. They can do whatever they want. That's their property, right? Marvel was the one that sold them for $5 million. So if they don't want Marvel to play with Miles Morales, Marvel can't do nothing. They'll respect that. What I'm more curious about, though, is how are you going to make that Miles Morales movie? When Sony makes their movies or whatever, because remember, Marvel is helping Sony make Spider-Man Brand New Day. They are not helping produce the Beyond the Spider-Verse. If y'all do a Spider-Man Miles Morales live action, is Marvel going to help you with that? I sincerely hope that they will, because even though there have been some changes in Sony, I don't know if I fully trust them to do a live action anything with Spider-Man without Marvel's help. The only time they've been successful so far, maybe Venom 1, and after that, I don't know. I don't know if anything else has been successful after that. So I hope that they continue to work together. I hope. Now, here's something else we have to talk about, and that is something that might be affecting some of the Marvel movies going forward. And that's really about how Marvel decides to make their movies. Now, we've heard about how James Gunn talks about how he makes movies for DCU. So Kevin Feige actually weighed in on this. So it says here James Gunn has said repeatedly that he will only greenlight projects that have a complete script. That is a pointed difference from Marvel Studios, right? Kevin Feige was like, hold up, wait a minute. He says, we've never started a movie without a full script, and I have never been satisfied with a script that we've had. I've never been satisfied with a movie we've released. He defended Marvel's practice of plussing projects, and that's a term basically referring to the pushing of incremental improvements, or let's just say improvising on the fly, right? Or winging it at times. He says, listen, we have some of the best actors out there. If they have an idea, you want to listen to it and you want to adjust to it and you want to improve it. I wouldn't want to change that. So, what this really talks about, this plussing, if you watch any of the movies like not just the movies, but if you watch things like the Assembled behind the scenes series on Disney Plus, basically showing you how these movies are made and stuff. That plussing is literally like, let me write this thing in the script right now. For example, remember the Illuminati in Doctor Strange 2? Let me just, it'd be funny if we killed off Reed Richards and brought in John Krasinski. Ha ha ha. Let's add that into the script right now. Ha ha ha. That's what he's defending. Meanwhile, someone like James Gunn is like, listen, let's get a complete script. All right, let's shoot. Now, you can always make tweaks and stuff here and there, but if you still are making all these changes on the fly, I think I just read an article somewhere that said even Avengers Doomsday, the script ain't done, or they're still making changes to it. All right. Good luck. They talk about and this is something else to kind of give you a little insight into how Marvel thinks. Now, if you have been one of those people that have gotten frustrated when Marvel will show you characters, right? So let's say, remember her, Cleo, Charlize Theron's character, or Harry Styles, and you'd be like, man, where are they? What are y'all doing? Y'all showed me this character, then y'all went away. Like, what is going on? Listen to how Kevin Feige thinks, and this will explain his mindset. So when he was asked about that, like, yo, where are these characters? Are we gonna see them again? What's going on? And he was like, oh, do you want to see them again? He asked playfully. Okay, so he's joking, he's playing. So Feige kind of mentioned, like, oh, think about Tim Blake Nelson's character, the leader from the Incredible Hulk and Captain America Brave New World. Think about him. He says this is fun to me. It's fun to me. So let's talk again in 12 years and see who comes back. Because for him, he likes characters like Rolf Saxon's character in the Mission Impossible movie that came back 12, 20 years later or whatever in the Final Reckoning. So when you see stuff like that, hey, they showed me this character, I'm just going to wait 12 years and then they pop back up. That's funny for him. I think that's telling that that's his way of thinking. Anyway, when it comes to his future, because people are like, when is Feige going to leave? What's going on? He talks about, listen, we always talk about succession, even within divisions. I think for that reason, do I want to be making big movies for big audiences in 10 to 15 years from now? Yes, absolutely. That's all I want to do. Marvel's a great way to do that for me right now, but I hope to make big movies for lots of people forever. Mm. Mm. So, sounds like he got a couple years left in him, but he might not be at Marvel forever. Okay, that's fine. Whatever. All right, let us move on to. Do we want to talk about Blade or no? Let's talk about recasting. Y'all know how I feel when it comes to recasting. Um, y'all know that I have been on record saying multiple times recasting is and has never been a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Okay. And for a while, Kevin Feige on record has been adamant about, can't recast. I can't see nobody else. However, Robert Downey Jr. is back. Harrison Ford has recast Thunderbolt Ross. Recasting don't seem that bad, apparently. So Feige goes into a little bit more detail when it comes to the X-Men, because the X-Men supposedly are going to be in Avengers Doomsday. It says here that the company, Marvel, will recast the superpowered mutants for its upcoming X-Men movie, directed by Jake Schreier. It goes on to say, there we go. Feige indicated that the other Marvel characters will eventually be recast. That includes iconic roles like Tony Stark and Steve Rogers. Huh. 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 He also pointed out that many other major film franchises have done the same thing multiple times over. He says Amy Pascal, David Hyman are now searching for a new James Bond. James Bond, you say? David Cornsweet, the new Superman. Another Superman, you say? He was awesome. That will always be the case. Ha! Feige acknowledged that stars who've retired their original MCU roles, like Downey or Chris Evans, have made it difficult to imagine anyone else in their character's shoes, but it isn't an impossible task. Not impossible. Get out of here. What? He says, I think it's hard for anybody to do that when an actor has done such a great role. How are they going to ever replace Sean Connery as James Bond, right? I at first was thinking to myself, man, I wish I could have gotten an invite to this type of press meeting and to hear Kevin Feige just talking stuff. But now I see that God was looking out, because the look I would have had on my face while he was saying all that stuff, they would have had to kick me out. Because I'm pretty sure I would have said some things a little too loud under my breath. I would have been like, what? So you can see James Bond and Superman and all them people getting recast and stuff. Yo, Tony Stark finna get recast. Yo, Captain America will get recast. But when it comes to T'Challa, okay, okay, cool, cool. Whatever you say, man. Um, let's get on, because I'm about to get mad. I don't want to get mad. Let's get on to the last bit of his conversations. And let's talk about all the stuff coming up. And this has more to do with Doomsday and so on. Kevin Feige, like I said, he hosted that sit down press event. And this was at the Burbank HQ. And he says that there's a 7-year plan that goes to about 732. So at the very least, he is going to be there. He has a plan already for 732. I've been trying to tell y'all, whenever they come up with stuff, we always are 5-6 years behind. So these are things that he's planning right now that we won't see until 732. Okay, so keep that in mind. He goes on here to say about the Fantastic Four. Why Fantastic Four? Because it's Marvel's first family. It's in the history of our characters. They deserve to be A-listers. They were A-listers in the comics, sir. No, they weren't. No, they weren't. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. I've told y'all from the jump. Marvel believes in Fantastic Four more than I think the average person believes in Fantastic Four. Yes, they were Marvel's first family. Yes, Stan Lee came up with them to be like, yo, DC, they got the Justice League. We need something else. That's where they came up with Fantastic Four. That did not mean that they were A-listers. If anything, they wanted them to be A-listers because they had nothing else. Back in the day, what was it, in the 60s or whatever? I want to say like 64, something like that. Sure. Y'all didn't have nothing else. But once X-Men came around, once the Hulk came around, once almost everybody else came around, didn't nobody care about no Fantastic Four like that. A-listed, what? There was nothing A-list about them. Now, what was interesting is the fact that the characters were central in different storylines. Yeah, if you're doing something with Thanos or whatever, where's Reed Richards? Hey, we need somebody powerful. Yo, where's Sue Storm? Yeah, the characters were important. The family, the stories, nah. That's why y'all had to give them a kid. And their kid became more popular than them because their kid was OP as ever. Okay, but that's another story. Anyway, I don't know what he's talking about. A-list? No. Anyway, he goes on to sit here and say, while the original plan for the Avengers movie announced at Comic-Con was to feature Jonathan Majors' Kang the Conqueror as the main baddie, the character's future was thrown into question after the actor's arrest for assaulting his then girlfriend in early 2023. And this is Kevin Feige. Even before what had happened to the actor, we had started to realize that Kang wasn't Thanos. There was only one character that could be that because he was that in the comics for decades and decades. And because of the Fox acquisition, we finally had it, and that's Dr. Doom. First of all, Cap. Sir, that is Cap. And I want to make this very clear, especially for those that don't read the comics. Kang is not Thanos because he doesn't have to be Thanos. That's not the point. Kang is a Avengers villain. He is a villain that the Avengers deal with all the time. Why? Because Kang is a constant. I'm not talking about like just a constant nuisance. I mean, he's literally a constant. He's infinite. There's so many variations of him in time. He's there at the beginning. He's there at the end. Kang is always, by definition, a problem. Not for Ant-Man. Not for some super ants. For the Avengers. So when you sit here and say that Kang was not Thanos, that's not Kang's fault. It definitely was not the actor Jonathan Majors' fault because we know he was never the problem in your Ant-Man movie. That was y'all fault. Let's just be honest. Kang's failure is clearly the fault of Marvel's storytelling. Because that's not to say that you can't have one or two movies where the character didn't work out. And I'm sorry, I find it incredibly hard to believe that even before Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania came out, y'all started to realize he's not Kang. Didn't y'all put in a whole post-credit scene with the whole council of Kangs? If you thought Kang was so bad early on, why did you add on more Kangs? What are you talking about? We already heard and saw the leaked or the potential script of what Avengers Kang Dynasty was called. Remember that? It was going to be Kang Dynasty and how it was going to be the Avengers going against all these different versions of Kang and all that stuff. We already know that you had the plan to make Kang a bigger problem. Y'all took y'all foot off the gas pedal. Y'all saw that one, and we saw one report, I think it was either Variety or Hollywood Reporter, that said internally Marvel believed that they had a hit on their hands with Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. Y'all thought, and y'all thought wrong. So this was never a Kang problem. The problem was y'all had a bad movie and you failed to do the one thing that happens when you make a mistake like that. Tell a better story. That's all you have to do. If Kang messed up in this, or if you thought that, all you have to do to generate hype is to put Kang in another story and make him even more devious or make him do something world changing or whatever. That's all you had to do. Miss me with this whole thing of, oh, well, we saw Dr. Doom. And I know y'all wanted Dr. Doom. We always wanted Dr. Doom. We were willing to wait for Dr. Doom because we didn't even have a Fantastic Four yet. Y'all jumped the gun. I just want us to be honest. You jumped the gun. You got desperate. You got scared. I'm sure you did talk to Robert Downey about, hey, how can we get you back? I'm sure that was. Miss me with this nonsense that y'all were always talking about Doom this whole time. Don't lie to my face. Don't do it. Listen, I just got done watching a whole wrestling documentary. They don't even lie to me. And we know that that's predetermined and all that stuff. At least with wrestling, they'll tell you, like, hey, man, this person gonna win. This person the bad guy. This person. If wrestling ain't gonna lie to me, why are you lying? Why are you lying to my face? Kang wasn't the guy. Man, stop it. That's bad storytelling. Anyway, he said we started talking about Doom even before we officially pivoted from Kang. In fact, I started talking with Robert about this audacious idea before Ant-Man 3 came out. Yeah, all right. Whatever. Man, let's move on to Blade. Whatever. So, speaking of Blade, despite being taken off the calendar, the project remains in development with two-time Oscar Award winner Mahershala Ali attached. Feige revealed this week that while there were 4 versions of Blade in the works, 2 of them were period pieces. Remember, one of them, that's where they got the sinners costumes and stuff. So 2 of those were periods, one of them in the 1930s. And he said, we landed on a modern day, and that's what we're focusing on. So when it comes to Blade, they now want to do a modern day version with him. Now, about pausing Blade after the exit of 2 filmmakers, he said, we didn't want to put a leather outfit on Ali and have him start killing vampires. If you have seen any Blade movie, he literally has a leather outfit on and he starts killing vampires. You have 3 movies just like that. Just hold on. He goes on to say, you can start and have a good script and make it a great script through production, but we didn't feel confident we could do that on Blade. We didn't want to do that to Mahershala Ali and didn't want to do that to us. Oh my God. Imagine, I want y'all to think about this. You're hungry, right? You're hungry and you go to McDonald's, whatever, some burger joint. And you're like, yo, let me get a number one. I just want a number one burger, fries, drink. That's it. And you pull up to the window. And by the way, they advertise this. Hey, we got burgers and fries. Come on through. Big old sign. You pull up to the window. You ready to pay. And they say, excuse me, hold on. We don't want to just give you bread and meat and fries. We really want to give you a filet mignon. And by the way, it's going to take 5 years just to get the cow right, just to get the seasoning right, just to get the marinade right. We want to give you the best filet mignon you have ever had. Meanwhile, you in the drive-thru dying for the burger and fries, but they got to give you that Kobe wasabi steak that you did not ask for. Kevin Feige, put the fries in the bag, man. Just put the fries in the bag. Ain't nobody asking you for nothing extra with Blade. Nothing. Didn't nobody, not one person has ever said, you know what Blade needs? Time travel. Oh, let's put him in the multiverse. Hey, you know what? Let's throw Blade into space. That's got to do. Didn't nobody ask for that? Matter of fact, we got more than what we even anticipated. The mere fact that Mahershala Ali, 2-time Oscar Award winner, is present, you won us over at that point. You could have had a $500 to $600 million movie right after Comic-Con if you had dropped that. Then we had the small possibility of like, oh my God, Wesley Snipes could make a comeback and you could put them in a dual movie? What? But you're saying, nah, I want more. Sir, you're doing, what is it? Oh God, what is that saying of like the chase for perfection leads to destruction? You're killing this here. You're killing this. This is why y'all lucky I wasn't at this press junket. Because I would have been like, sir, no one is asking for you to do anything more. Get $50 million, put Mahershala in that leather outfit, have him kill vampires, and leave it at that. Literally, no one is asking you to do more. No one wants you to do more. We just want Blade. This is classic overthinking. You're doing too much. You didn't want to do this to Mahershala. Mahershala out there like, man, I'm ready. Every time Mahershala gets asked a question, I'm ready. Go talk to Marvel. This is y'all problem. This is a Kevin Feige problem. You have to stop overthinking this. Put the fries in the bag. Just give us Blade. Don't put this on Mahershala. Anyway, one reporter wondered whether Ryan Coogler would get a crack at Blade. Feige says there's no such plans, and the director remains committed to Black Panther 3. That makes sense. Feige's next phase of the MCU, and we talked about this already, but basically, fewer and higher quality movies, numbering anywhere from 1 to 3 annually, with less connectivity between the films and the TV shows. I think that's actually a really good move. Give me 1 or 2 movies. Let us wait. Let us build anticipation, and don't force us to watch the TV shows to make sense. He says here, yes. Are there plans to recast the Iron Man, Captain America? Yes and no. The classic superheroes will get new faces. When exactly? X-Men is where that will happen. So he did promise the X-Men will be recast. After Avengers Secret Wars, there is a plan to reset singular timelines and reboot the MCU. Are there more R-rated MCU movies? Sure, where appropriate and where necessary. Great. I hope that includes Blade. But I do like the idea that after Secret Wars, notice he said reset singular timelines. That to me does not mean you're going to reboot the MCU. You might reboot or soft reboot the 616. You might soft reboot 1 or 2 timelines and then make those the rest of the multiverse still intact, so that way we don't lose everything that came before this. So I think he was very careful with his wording there by saying singular timelines. You might only have 1 or 2 that get reset, and that's all we focus on, so that will feel like a reboot of the MCU, even though the other timelines probably still exist. Now, while his contract is up in 2 years, he tells Deadline, do I want to be making big movies for a big audience 15 years from now? Yes, it's all I want to do. Marvel's a great way to do that, so on and so forth. And those are the title slates for the new movies. So that is all for Kevin Feige on this press run, this press tour that he's been on. I really wish he would get more pressed on the Blade situation. I need somebody. Come on now. One of my colleagues out there, y'all got access. When y'all talking to him, please tell him nobody's asking for more than what he's doing with Blade. Please tell him he is wasting Mahershala Ali. He is wasting Wesley Snipes. You're waiting too long to make this thing perfect when the demand and the desire is here right now. Just please stop. Anyway, guys, that is all I got for the Feige interview. Feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. JN, what you got? Ironheart top 10 in Nielsen ratings, by the way. Movie? No, it's not. That doesn't matter. There's nothing about Ironheart that I think would grab enough of the audience to make them be like, I gotta go see this on the big screen. I don't see it. Now I do think the character, we should see the character in different things. I think based off of what she did in the show, she should be a pivotal portion for Avengers Secret Wars. You know, she's the only one right now that's mixing technology and magic. So I think she should play a very important role for that. But a movie, nah, I don't see it. D, what you got? Didn't overthink with Spider-Man or Fantastic Four? No, they don't. That's true. You look at Fantastic Four, they was like, oh, I know. We need a family and we need Galactus. Easy. Spider-Man, oh, we need street level, and that's it. Easy. Blade is the easiest movie they could make because the bar is not that high. Nobody is asking for Avengers level quality with Blade. We just want a nice action flick that's rated R with mofos still trying to skate uphill. That's all. That's all. Anywho. All right, guys, that's all I got for tonight. I want to thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. We do not have anything. Yeah, so no live, obviously, on Friday because I got stuff I'm doing over the weekend. Shout out to my homeboy. His birthday is on the weekend, so we're gonna party it up. And yeah, that's all I got. We will be here next week, next Friday, I want to say. Is there anything I gotta announce? I don't think I don't think I have anything. Just stay tuned. Make sure that you're subscribed if you haven't already. You never know what movie I'll be screening. You never know what reactions I'll be posting. So I will definitely post those up for you guys. But yeah, that's it, guys. It's the weekend is coming up. I know it's not the weekend yet, but make sure you have yourselves a great weekend. Until we see each other next time, you know the routine. Wash your hands, wash your butts, and everything in between. And until next time, see you guys later. Peace.